This is slide 5 in our 90s 2000 unit. Mission accomplished. Okay. We will start, and most of this slide will deal with Iraq. Okay. Remember, we are up to President Bush now, George W. Bush, W as he's known. Iraq had been refusing to let UN weapons inspectors review their nuclear power plants. It was believed that they were using their nuclear development was being used for more than just power. Okay? Bush referred to, in a speech, referred to Iraq, Iran, and North Korea as the axis of evil. And there you see there are 3 flags there. Iraq, Iran, and North Korea as the axis of evil. And he claimed that they were, specifically Iraq, developing weapons of mass destruction, WMD here, chemical weapons, nuclear weapons, you name it. And that Iraq was supporting terrorist groups such as Al-Qaeda, who we now know was behind the 9/11 bombing. So Bush uses this, uses kind of all this to tie together as an excuse to go after Iraq here. He ties in Al-Qaeda and 9/11 and the weapons of mass destruction and all of that together as the excuse to go into Iraq. Now, who he's going after is the Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein. Right? Now, there's some belief here. You got to go back to Bush's father, President George H.W. Bush, the first one, who in the first Gulf War went in to drive Saddam Hussein out of Kuwait, which he successfully did, but he didn't drive Saddam Hussein out of power. So there's some thinking that maybe this is the son going in to, finish the father's work or something like that. I don't know if there's anything to it, but there's some talk of that. But anyway, Saddam Hussein is the leader of Iraq. Massive civil rights abuses, killing anyone who disagrees with his government. So Bush is going to go in and take him out. Our only ally in the whole thing is Great Britain. Okay? And in March 2003, an invasion of Iraq was launched. Right? In less than a month, Baghdad, the capital, had fallen, and Saddam Hussein had been driven out of power and into hiding. Okay? He was later found and arrested about 9 months later and put on trial. Here you see the before, at the height of his power, and after he's finally found in hiding after 9 months. He was put on trial, found guilty of war crimes and human rights abuses, and he would be executed in 2006, so about 3 years later or so. Okay. Now, just because Saddam Hussein is driven out of power, he's captured and executed, doesn't mean that all is good and well and everything is done. Much like we saw in Afghanistan, after an enemy is driven out, you can't just abandon them. Things come back to haunt you. Iraq is left in a civil and religious mess after the war. Okay? Elections were held. Okay? It's in a Muslim country, but not everybody is the same type of Muslim. Okay? What we see in Iraq is a fight between 2 groups of Muslims, the Sunni and the Shia. That's the Time magazine cover you see here, why they hate each other. The Sunni and the Shia. It's 2 different branches of Islam. Okay? Now, there's a long, complicated explanation for what each side believes, but it comes down to this. Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad, was founded the Islamic faith. what it comes down to is they each, the Sunni and the Shia, believe that a different descendant of Muhammad was the rightful ruler of Islam. Okay? One believe it's a sorry, I went blank. Okay, here it is. Okay. One of them believe that Muhammad's cousin and his son-in-law are the rightful rulers of Islam. The other believe that it's Muhammad's father-in-law, who sort of tutored him and mentored him, was the rightful ruler of Islam. And both of them sort of follow the paths of those two men throughout history. The Sunni believe one path, follow it. The Shia follow another path. So it basically comes down to who you believe is the rightful ruler of Islam. Now, get back to present day here. Well, at least present in, 2003, 2004. Elections are held. Okay, they are won by the Shia. Okay, they had been, even though they're the majority, they were not in power. The Sunnis had been in power. Okay? Saddam Hussein was a Sunni. Okay? And they had been abusing everybody. The Shia win the elections, as you can imagine. So now the Sunnis are fearing reprisals and that people are going to try to be getting even with them, which they are. So even though you have elections held and a rightful ruler is chosen, doesn't mean that everybody's just going to start getting along. The Sunni and the Shia still to this day hate each other. Most of the problems in the Middle East can be traced to the disagreements between these two different branches of Islam, the Sunni and the Shia. So the Shia come into power and the U.S. will back them. The Sunni start retaliating by bombings and assassinations to try to overthrow the Shia government. So even though we fight a war to get rid of Saddam Hussein, nothing is fixed, which makes it very difficult for President Bush to make the following statement. As you see at the picture at the bottom here, Bush goes to the Persian Gulf at the end of the war and gives a speech on board an aircraft carrier. And in the background, you see, hanging on the deck here, or the tower, rather, of the aircraft carrier, the sign, "Mission Accomplished." Bush gives this speech where he declares that we have won, mission is accomplished, peace is restored to Iraq. And anything but peace has been restored to Iraq. So mission accomplished, exclamation point, maybe more like mission accomplished, question mark. Because what did we really accomplish? We got rid of one guy and now we've got a whole new set of fighting going on. But anyway, it is in the midst of that and driving out Saddam Hussein and finishing his father's work and all that, in 2004 that Bush is going to run for re-election. The Republicans will nominate Bush. The Democrats choose Massachusetts Senator John Kerry. And although it is a close victory, it's not near as close as 2000 with the Florida fiasco. Bush will win 286 to 252. So Bush will win two presidential elections, both of them pretty close.